In this video, I'm going to show you how to calculate correlation coefficient and a regression line using T1-84. So here we have a set of data. So the data involves the number of years of school completed by 10 randomly selected people and their scores on a test measuring the prejudice. The first thing we will do is store the data in the calculator. So hit the Step button. You will see a little menu. So out of the three tabs, Edit, Calc, and Add Tests, choose Edit and number 1. So hit Enter. It brings up the list. We're going to put the X values in list 1 and the Y values in list 2. So let's start with the first value for the X, which is 12. So enter that. And then 5, then 14, 13, 8, 10, 16, 11, 12, and 4. So we're done putting the X values into list 1. And then move your cursor to L2. So that's where you should put your Y values. So we start with the first value. So that's 1. Then 7, 2, 3, 5, 4, 1, 2, 3. The last value is 10. So make sure you put the value correctly so that they all paired up, okay, with no mistakes. Once you are done entering your data into the list, hit the Step button again. Now move your cursor to Calc. So use the arrow button and highlight Calc. And then you have to choose number 4, which is telling the calculator we want to do a linear regression. So use the arrow button and highlight number 4, then enter. So now it brings up the linear regression function. At this step, you need to tell the calculator where you put your data. So our X values are in L1 and our Y values are in L2, so we don't need to do anything. But what if you put your data in different lists? So to switch to different lists, you can do the second button and the numbers. So let's see our X values are in L3. So to switch from L1 to L3, you hit the second button and the number 3. So as you can see, the L1 changes to L3. Since our values are in L1, so let's switch it back. To switch it back, the second button and then the number 1. So as you can switch back. So once you specify the list, then you just hit Enter, 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 and Enter and calculate. So now as you can see, it outputs the linear regression result. From this window, you can see the linear correlation coefficient and also gives you the regression line. So the linear correlation coefficient is negative 0.92 if we keep 2 decimal places. And the linear regression equation is y equal to negative 0.69 plus 11.01. So when you do this on your calculator, sometimes it may not show you the correlation coefficient R. So in that case, you have to do a second button and the catalog. So bring up the catalog and use your arrow button and to go all the way down to diagnostics. Once you find the diagnostic on, then hit enter. Then enter again it will turn the diagnostic on. So once you turn this on, you will be able to see the linear correlation coefficient. Sometimes the calculator output might look a little different from the results when you calculate these manually. So the reason is because if you calculate manually, then you have to do rounding multiple times, so the results might be different. So basically the calculator will give you a more accurate result. You can also use your T1-84 calculator to make a scatter plot. To do that, hit the second y equal to button. Then you can highlight the first option. So enter. Then move the cursor to on. Then you have to choose from a list of graphs. So in our case, we want to do a scatter plot. So that is the first one. Hit enter. And then move your cursor to the list. So that is basically where you put your data. So where you put your X and where you put your Y. And then you can also choose different marks. Okay, you can choose a plus sign or a little square. Okay, so let's do the little square. So hit enter. And then you can also choose color. So we can go with the blue. And then once you done that, then just hit the graph. So as you can see, the graph doesn't look right. So the reason is because the window is not right. So here the window is a standard window. So to make the graph right, click the zoom and choose number 9, which is the zoom stat. So the calculator will adjust the window based on the data you entered. So hit enter. So now you see the scatter plot look all right.